Good morning, everyone. Well, I don't know about you guys, but it's a beautiful day to me. So good morning, everyone. Well, it's my privilege to be here. My name is Darrell Green. Some of you know me when I was a tough guy in number 28. Some of you know me. That was a long time ago. But, but it's my privilege to be here as a person who have been part of this city for 35 years now. 35 years. I've spent my time mostly in the area of youth development, working with Horning Brothers and different communities, Washington View, focusing on youth learning centers. But this one was different. About 4 years ago or so, I had an opportunity to meet with Scott Alter and his team at Standard Properties, as well as the Housing on Merit, to talk about a strategy for rehabilitation for this community here, FortChaplinPark Apartments. You know, when I had the first conversation with these gentlemen, I pulled out my card and I said, you know, my card says on it, selling the historic integrity of a brand. And I said, I have a brand reputation. It's not about that I've done so many great things, but I've done things with integrity. And I said, to go and stand before this community and stand with us and stand with you to say, hey, you're going to make this happen and that happen and that happen, I'm going to have to get to know you better. And we spent time getting to know each other, traveling around, looking at other communities around the country. And so when I stood before the Chaplin Hope Tenant Association, I was greatly confident in the ability for the things that were said to take place. And I want to say to you today that this gentleman and his team and the group, the Tenant Association, everybody have delivered on their word. And I'm proud, and I'm humbled, and I'm proud to stand before you today. I want to transition real quick because I'm just a small part of this day. I want to introduce our 8th mayor, Myriad Bowser. She is a lady who is very familiar with this community and the D.C. the overall city. She was raised in the Northeast area. She is a big supporter of housing and a big supporter of the preservation of communities just like this, to make sure that the people, and many people have been in here 20 and 30 years, they'll get to stay here in quality. And so please welcome to the podium, Mayor Miriam Bowser.
Thank you, Darrell. Good to see you. Everybody, let's hear it for Darrell Green. I think we all remember watching Darrell Green. Oh, how we long for those days again. Maybe one day soon at RFK, for that matter. So good morning, Ward 7. I am delighted to be with all of you to talk about something that has everybody's attention across Washington, D.C., all 8 wards of our city, and that's how we invest in and preserve more affordable housing for district residents. I am pleased to be right here in Ward 7. We were here just last week talking about even more affordable housing production in this great ward. Let me recognize your council member, Vince Gray, Marvin Turner, who is from the Department of Housing and Urban Development, as well as my affordable housing team from the DC Housing Finance Agency, as well as Housing and Community Development, and our Director of African American Affairs. Where is she? Right here. There's Ashley, who's also a leader here in Ward 7. To the advisory neighborhood commissioners, I want to acknowledge and thank you as well. And the development team here, we appreciate your focus and attention in Washington, D.C. Less than a week ago, as I mentioned, we talked about a new order directive that I have given to the entire D.C. government around reaching our housing goals. I have said a number of times that to solve the housing crisis in our city, we need to develop 36,000 new units of housing by 2025. And that's why in my 2020 budget that I've sent to the council, I fund a plan to get us there. We increase our investment in the Housing Production Trust Fund by $30 million. We create a new workforce housing fund to focus on developing middle-income units. And we increase our investment in the Housing Preservation Fund, which we created on the recommendation of our Housing Preservation Strike Force to $15 million. I do, though, want to call your attention and ask everybody involved who knows how hard it is to get affordable housing built to continue to work with the council not to decrease the investments that I sent to them just a few weeks ago. For example, we can't afford to go backwards on the Housing Production Trust Fund by slashing my investment of $130 million to $120 million. We cannot afford to eliminate the Workforce Housing Fund, which we know, I can't tell you how often I hear from our teachers and firefighters and social workers and people who work for us in DC government who say they can't afford to live here. If we're going to be serious about having a diversity of incomes in our city, having our own government workers be able to live here, we also have to be serious about investing in middle-income housing. And so we're also asking the council not to eliminate our Housing Preservation Fund, which has put us on track to preserve 900 affordable housing units. These cuts to affordable housing are not acceptable and will prevent us from reaching our goals. So it is important that we all focus. There are a lot of priorities in the city. The council has tough decisions to make. But be assured, and we all know this for a fact, that housing is the #1 issue for our residents. Housing first. And when we talk about goals, sometimes when you just talk about units, you forget about the people who live in the units. But real people live there. Families, kids, seniors, people with disabilities, all who need housing. And we know when people have safe and affordable housing, they can focus on all of the other issues of life, like the education that their children are getting, how they're going to improve their own education, or how they go after a new job, or how they stay healthy. And so all of those things are directly tied to housing. So FortChaplinPark is an example of why we are investing in preserving affordable housing. Because through the Tenant Opportunity to Purchase Act, more frequently referred to as TOPA, the tenants here were able to partner with a committed private sector developer to not only preserve and upgrade their homes, but also increase the number of available units and ensure that all homes here stay affordable for 3 decades. So let's give a big round of applause to the president of our Tenants Association and thank all of the leadership here for their commitment and hard work in representing their neighbors. Because I know it's not easy. I know people don't always agree. And I know you're a volunteer. And so getting all of that done is hugely important. So let me just say a couple of things, and some others will go into more detail. But this was done through a $94 million acquisition and renovation, the largest tax-exempt bond affordable housing preservation deal in DC history, right here at this project. What started as a 70% affordable project is now a 100% affordable project. And most of the 549 units here at FortChaplinPark are 2- and 3-bedroom apartments for families making no more than $55,000 a year, or 60% of the MFI. And that includes 130 units with housing choice vouchers and 72 units with federal project rent subsidy. So you see how this all comes together. And residents here will have access to a vibrant community center with a wide array of services provided in conjunction with DC government agencies. So, as I said, when our residents have safe and affordable housing, that represents the pride that they take in themselves and their families. They are better situated to make all the right decisions for their families and participate in the prosperity that we are growing in DC. So when I think about this project, I wonder how we can get 10 or 15 more. 545 units, family-sized units, and a project that the residents here led. And know that represents what they wanted for their community. So I'm just really delighted with what we've been able to achieve, and I want to recognize the council member also for remarks.
Thank you very much, Mayor Bowser, and good morning, everybody. I am delighted to be out here to be a part of the ribbon cutting for a project that has been going on now for several years, but hasn't been worth the effort for us to be able to get to where we are today, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to thank the mayor and her team that are here. I want to thank you, Darrell Green, one of the greatest football players ever to step on a football field. How about a big hand for Darrell Green? You've heard the specifics about the development itself with the community organization that is the private development organizations working with us to be able to make this happen. And the folks who live here have really made enormous sacrifices to be able to make this happen, ladies and gentlemen. How about a big hand for those who are living here in Fort Chaplin? Fort Chaplin has a long and storied and sometimes difficult history, but it is really back now. And I am absolutely delighted and proud to be able to say that we've got 540 plus units here that have been completely redeveloped for people who are living here in Fort Chaplin. One of the things that we're working on is to be able to bring more amenities to our area. This is a ward that has only 2 grocery stores. We have a Safeway in East River Park, which is not far from here, and then we have another one in Good Hope Marketplace. But don't we need more grocery stores than that, ladies and gentlemen? And that's what we're working to try to make happen at this stage. We also have nearby, we have the venerable, the storied shrimp boat, which is a landmark for people to be able to get to this area of the city. And of course, we have Benko Shopping Center, which is another place that we want to be developed. We've gotten 3 pieces of legislation passed in the council that we think will facilitate encouraging people to come to this area of the city. First of all, a bill that empowers, authorizes the administration to be able to build buildings on behalf of grocery stores that would like to otherwise locate on the east end of the city, in Ward 7 or in Ward 8. It will be, when this legislation is fully effectuated, it will allow folks to be able to tap into resources that are available to people who live in the District of Columbia on this end to be able to build grocery stores. We'd like to be able to build more Giants and other grocery stores that are around the city. And we'd also like to be able to take advantage of the tax breaks that are embraced in a couple of other pieces of legislation that we have at this point. One is a bill that reduces the tax abatements from 30 years, increases it, from 10 years to 30 years, and also reduces property taxes for stores, grocery stores that want to locate here in the city. And we also are happy, and we're glad to work with you on this, Mayor Bowser, and that is the redevelopment of Fletcher Johnson School, which is now being developed by the Deputy Mayor for Planning and Economic Development. We're looking forward to the RFP that will come out in July that will create more amenities, more opportunities for people here on the east end of the District of Columbia. So I'm delighted to be here for the ribbon cutting. I want to thank our A&C Commissioner, Aretha Jackson, for all the work that she does on behalf of people. And just want to congratulate the tenants for the perseverance, for having the wherewithal, having the foresight, and having the perseverance to be able to take advantage of the TOPA laws that we have in the District of Columbia. It's been a long time coming, but it certainly was well worth it. Thank you all, everybody, for being here and be a part of the new birth of Fort Chaplin here in Ward 7. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Bowser. Thank you, Councilman Gray. Welcome, everybody. This has been a long time coming. We're so excited to be here. Standard Communities is committed to the creation, preservation, and improvement of affordable housing across the country, and specifically here at Fort Chaplin. As you've heard, this has been a project that has been going on for many years, but specifically we came in 4 years ago, started working with Darrell, started working with the Tenant Association, started working with Housing on Merit, and started working with the Franklin Johnston Group to create and preserve this, or to really preserve and improve this project and this property for the residents, and to keep it as their home. This has been a $33 million renovation with a brand new clubhouse, as you can see behind us, brand new community center, brand new daycare center, and a brand new pool. So really bringing a lifestyle for people who live here that was long overdue. Again, this property is 549 units, and it houses almost 1,500 people. And we acquired this property in 2016, working on it for more than that, longer than that. And it's really been a labor of love, something that we've really worked hard at, and we're going to continue to work hard with the residents to make it great. The only other thing I want to mention is this really is a collaboration between the public agencies of DC, the federal government, and the private capital of Standard Communities, of Citibank, and Alliant Capital, bringing a real great combination of public to private partnerships that are really needed around the country. So I just want to thank everybody for that. And I will just introduce Brian Barker from Citibank to say a few words, and then we'll do the ribbon cutting.
Well, good morning. I will keep my remarks really short because everything I was going to say, you've heard from Scott, you've heard from the mayor, so there's not much else to say. But I will say probably the most enjoyable part of my job is coming out and seeing the finished communities. I first saw this property about 3.5 years ago, I think it was, and it is remarkably different today. I think the mayor summed it up best when she referenced the vibrant community center and clubhouse, and this just looks spectacular. So congratulations to the Standard team and to the tenants. Again, this is a wonderful example of public-private partnerships that actually work. So delighted to be here today and celebrate, and congratulations.
Thank you.